Hello people and welcome to Random Issue, the series where I'll spin a wheel and it will land on a random issue and I'll just ramble about why I like it. Now as always, remember this video will contain spoilers to whatever story I'm talking about, and as always I suggest you to go read it yourself. Swamp Thing issue 35. This story's very good, and it's very much a horror story, and it does such a good job at keeping this very unnerving tone while also going into about radiation and chemicals and pollution. It's just a very good story. The story focusing on just this homeless man who clearly is just been affected by radiation poisoning and is slowly losing his self and is clearly mentally unwell, just wandering around the city, well not city, small town, and slowly poisoning everything nearby him and getting people killed is such a good idea. It's so simple, but it leads to some really tense and horrifying moments in the story. I'm also going to be talking about issue 36, what is the actual ending of this story. I must have just forgotten to put in the actual wheel, but yeah. One of my favourite moments in the story is a man who's connected with the dumping of radioactive toxins into basically a nowhere town where mostly homeless people were at, and he's constantly trying to run away from the homeless man who has radioactive poisoning, aka Nuke Face, because he's running away from the consequences of his actions. And by the end of it, his wife, who's pregnant, finds Nuke Face, and she herself gets radioactive poisoning, and all he can do is try and run away again. The art in this is also really amazing. It looks fantastic. But then again, Swamp Thing kinda has had amazing art for a while, and it really helps bring out the kinda tone of the story and embrace the elements of horror with how it's coloured and just drawn. We also get to hear other town people and their thoughts on this Nuke Face as he becomes more of a legend to people, a ghost story, and much more than just a man who's clearly unwell. But even in this story, they very much push him as this representative factor of radiation poisoning and overall pollution in general. And like he says at the end of the comic, he's heading for America. Now, Swamp Thing himself is actually not really in this story much. He does interact with Nuke Face, but he is badly hurt, and it's a very well done image and very kind of creepy to see someone who is very powerful in the comic be kind of reduced to just a corpse basically by just some human. But he doesn't really do much in the story. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it very much helps focus on the surrounding elements and focus on the character that is Nuke Face. The same kind of goes for Abigail Arcane. She does get some more stuff near the end of issue 36, I believe, where she tries to find Swamp Thing because he's just suddenly disappeared, and she finds him on the ground, his body slowly disintegrating. It's a very dark scene and it's very sad, but Swamp Thing, like he says, tries to promise her that he's going to try and go into the ring and regrow a new body for himself. We truly don't know what happened with Nuke Face. If we're going off of the fact he's meant to represent nuclear dumping and pollution, then he got to America, and he got to most of the world. This story does not end on a happy ending. It has the person who ended up hurting people and killing them going free, wandering to who knows where. But also the people who end up creating Nuke Face is the reason he exists, the reason he continues to go on, because they won't face their own consequences. The colours in this comic are also really nice, the greens, blues and oranges. They just all can really work, and they also help build up the tone more. The cover art for 2 of these issues are also really good and can fit with the kind of idea of what it is. My favourite probably piece of art from this story is probably the last page of issue 36, where it's Nuke Face walking away and we just see newspapers scattered onto the page showing headlines of dangerous hazards and toxic fumes and just waste that is killing and destroying the earth, and it's just a really rememberable page and piece of art. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you've liked this video, then you can like it. You might even want to dislike it. Feel free to comment your own thoughts on this story. Also, I have more comic book related videos on my channel if you wish to check those out. But yeah, thank you for watching, that's all, and goodbye.